Okay, so hello everyone. Actually, I was a little bit running out of time, so let's start tomorrow's session. In the today's session, I will share something. Is it visible? Can anyone confirm me?
No, ma'am. The screen is not visible yet.
It's not visible.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let me join again. Wait. Is it visible now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. So in today's section, we will talk about the assignment 3 previous year questions. So first of all, I just want to tell the first question. In the first question, you can see that this is a very similar question whatever we talked in this next week about that particle cell models. And one student asked me about the one question about the what will be the energy, like if it is like that one. If there is one energy gap between these two, then what will be the expression for delta E? That was the previous week question. So I just want to elaborate that one a little bit, and after that I will go to the next question. Okay. So in that question, like what the question was, the question means like how can I say that this one and this one has that much energy gap, and this one and this one has a very little bit of energy gap. How can I say that? Like, I mean, what is the expression for the delta E for each and every energy gap? So that was the question in the last week it was asked. So I have the expression for that. This is the expression for the total energy gap calculation. I mean that this ENLJ, it is nothing but the nth level. L is the orbital angular momentum and J is the total angular momentum. So we just need to put the value of N, L and J, then we can have each and every state's energy level. Okay, so like you can see that this is N value, this is L value, and there is J value and there is S value. So obviously for nucleons, we are talking about nuclear shell model. So in that nuclear shell model, S is obviously half always, because it is a nucleon, like either proton or neutron. So if it is a nucleon, then obviously S will be half. But we have to put the expression for that one. Like if you just put each and every value here, let's say I am just talking about 1p 3/2 and 1p half, then like how these two are putting like that, like how 1p 3/2 is below than 1p half, that can be a question. And how that 1d 5/2 and 2s half has that much energy gap, but between 2s half and 1d 3/2 has very small energy gap. So for all these questions, we just need to write this expression. With that expression, we can find that okay, indeed that type of expression should be there in our, I mean that type of energy level should be there in our calculation. So just calculate at least one, let's say 2p 3/2. I just want to show you that 2p 3/2 and 2p half has a little bit difference. Okay, and how this difference is coming. So if I just put all the values here, then we can find the differences. Like let's say we are talking about 1p 3/2. So in that 1p 3/2, by that notation, what is the values of this? N is 1. Then P means it is L value. L is 1 for that, because it is P value, as I already told in the next class, previous class. And 3/2 is nothing but J. So J is what? L plus S or L minus S, right? As it was discussed. So J is 3/2 and L is 1 and S is half. So if I just put all the values here, then there will be some value, and when we are putting 1p half, then there will be, all the things will be same, but the J value will be half instead of 3/2, because in that case 1p 3/2 means J will be 3/2, and for 1p half J will be half. That is the thing. Okay, So if I just put the value of J, N and L in the equation number 1, then we can have a value for 1p 3 by 2. This will be the 1p 3 by 2 if I just put all these values. But here if I just put again 1p half, okay. So like that you can you can know that there is an energy gap between all these energy states, like how these 1d 3 by 2 and 2s half are very closely separated, and how there is 2s half and 1d 5 by 2 are largely separated. We can find all the things with the help of this expression only. ENLJ equals to 2n plus L minus 2 plus 3 by 2 minus J plus 1 minus LL plus 1 minus SS plus 1, and it should be in the unit of H bar omega, as we all know that the energy is in the unit of H bar omega. Okay, so this is the final expression for each and every state's energy eigenvalue. So by putting all the values of N, L and J, we can find each and every state's energy value. So this was the question, so whatever it was previously asked, and this is the answer for that. Okay, now coming to the first question. Now coming to the first question. In that first question it was asked that the first excitation state of calcium 2041 is found to have IP 3 by 2 minus, which is explained well within the single particle cell model. This is a statement. This statement is correct or not? That is the question. So at first we have to calculate that what will be the first excited state IP value for calcium 2041. Is it 3 by 2 minus or not? If it is 3 by 2 minus, then the statement is correct. Okay. So calcium 2041, the similar questions are already explained in the previous week, but still we are going to do that. So here the proton number is 20. Now coming to the neutron number. Neutron number is what? 41 minus 20, which is nothing but 21. So if I have the expression for that, like let's say here 21, that means 20 after 20, that is filled fully, and the last excited state is, the last state is 1f 7 by 2 1, and it is in ground state. Now coming to the first excited state, as they are asking about first excited state. So if I go for the first excited state, then obviously we have to go from here to here. So here to here means you can see that this is P2P 3 by 2. That means that only one neutron or nucleon, whatever it is there, it will go from here to here. That means the last energy for first excited state will be 2p 3 by 2 1. This is first excited state. So for that case, what will be IP value? IP means I is the value of this one, total angular momentum number. So total angular momentum number is what? 3 by 2. And P is what? P is parity. So how P can be calculated? P is nothing but minus 1 to the power L. So what was L here? L is 1, right? So minus 1 to the power 1, which is nothing but negative value. That means 3 by 2 minus. So the first excited state IP value should be 3 by 2 minus. And what was the question? The question was the first excited state of calcium 2041 is found to have IP 3 by 2 minus, which is explained well within the single particle cell model. So whatever we have done here, it was totally within the single particle cell model. So we can say that within single particle cell model, we can explain the first excited state of calcium 2041 has IP equals to 3 by 2 minus. So this statement is right. Okay, so this question is from a nuclear cell model, whatever it was taught in the second week. So I hope all of you understand that one. Okay, now coming to the second question. In the second question, what is the question here? It was totally based on the radioactive chapter. So in the next, in the week number 3, in the third week, it was taught about, Dr. Paulos taught about radioactive materials and what is radioactivity. So all the remaining question of the assignment 3 will be on the radioactivity. So in that first question, what is there? The activity of a sample of radioactive element is found to be 180 per second. If its half-life is 31.58 seconds, the number of parent elements present in the sample now is what? So this is the question. So basically at the very first we have to know that what is the activity of a sample. As it is written here, the activity of a sample of a radioactive element is found to be 180 per second. So they have given this information, and they have also given the information that half-life of that element is 31.58 seconds. So the question is number of parent elements present in the sample, how much will be there. So what is activity here? The activity is the total decay rate of a sample of one or more radioactive nuclides is known as activity, like total decay rate of a sample. So the activity can be written as minus dN dt. So for the radioactive chapter, we can have a very simple expression that n equals to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. So what is these things? N is the remaining number of elements in that sample after time t, and n0 is the previous number of samples when t was 0, and lambda is the decay rate, which is nothing but the 0.693 divided by t half. How 0.693 is coming? 0.693 is ln2, and what is t half? T half is the half-life of that element, and t is the time. So the total, so this is the expression for n, and now the activity is nothing but minus dN dt. Okay, so if I just going to do that dN dt, right? So what we will do here, we will just do the derivative with respect to t. So ddt of n0 e to the power minus lambda t, as n has n0 e to the power minus lambda t. So what we will write here, n0 is obviously a constant vector, so that's why it is coming outside, and then minus lambda t, then minus lambda. So if minus dN dt is there, so minus this one is minus this one, right? So what will be the answer? Minus minus is plus, and this lambda is coming here, and as a whole this term is nothing but n again. Okay, so right, that's why activity is minus dN dt, which is lambda n0 e to the power minus lambda t, which is nothing but lambda into n. Okay, so in that expression it was given that what is the value of A. A was given as 180 second inverse, and what it was also given, it was also given the value of t half. T half was 31.558 second. So if now we can have the value of lambda from t half, because t half and lambda has an expression that lambda equals to 0.693 divided by t half. So if I put all this value here, then lambda will be this one, and what will be the value of n here? N is nothing but a by lambda. So a by lambda means if I just put a is 180 and lambda is 0.02194, then it will be like 820.59, like it is in the integer value, nearest integer value is 8203. So what is n here? N is nothing but, yes.
Mama, I have the how the minus lambda coming, ma'am?
Okay, how the minus lambda is coming. So basically the expression was n into n0 e to the power minus lambda t. Okay, so now we are doing dN dt. So if I do dN dt, then what will be the value of dN dt? This one will be the value. So n0 is a constant value, that means n0 will come out as it is. Now coming to this part, so this part is what? E to the power minus lambda t. So if we have ddt of e to the power x, then what will be the derivative for it? It is e to the power x only, right? So similarly it is minus lambda t is coming as it is, but the minus lambda t, this portion will be derived again, that means ddt of minus lambda t. So what is ddt of minus lambda t? Minus lambda, right? So it will be nothing but n0 e to the power minus lambda t into minus lambda. So this portion is again n, so that it is coming minus lambda. Do you got?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is the case. So if I just calculate all the values, then A can have A lambda into n. Now coming to the n value, n is what? N I have told you that n is the number of parent elements present. Right now whatever it is present in the sample, that is the value of n at t equals to okay. So what the question is asking for? The question is asking for the number of parent elements present in the sample now. Now means at t equals to t. It is not like that t equals to 0, right? So at t equals to t, what will be the value of the parent elements? So it is nothing but n. So here we can see that the value of n is a by lambda, and if I just put a value and lambda value, then we can have this one. And obviously it is the number of elements, number of parent elements. Obviously the number of parent elements will be in integer form. That's why we are writing here the nearest integer. You can see that the answer is coming out like 8202.59, but as a nearest integer value it should be 8203. Okay, so this is the first question, this is the second question. So I think no one has any problem on that. So all the rest of the questions are totally based on the radioactivity, so it's a very simple chapter. So if you just understand a little bit, then you can understand all the questions here. Okay, so now coming to this third question. In the third question you can see that the activity of a sample of radioactive element is found to be 432 per minute if its half-life is 1.5 minutes. The number of elements in the sample is. So you can see that the question number 3 is very similar to question number 2, right? Because there is also it was asking about the number of elements right now. What is the number of elements present? Here also it is asking the same one. There also it was giving the activity. Here also it is giving the activity and also half-life. So I did not do that one here. So you can do that one in very similarly, as I have already explained the first question, previous question. So you can do very similarly that what will be the value of the number of elements in the sample present right now. Okay, you have to just calculate n value. So how you will calculate n value? Just putting a by lambda. So how is a is already given, and lambda how can I find? 0.693 divided by t half, and t half is given. So if t half is there, then you can find lambda from there. And if I just, and also a is given, so if I just put lambda and a, then you can find n value, right? So I think you all people can do it. It's a very simple thing. So should I go in the next question, or should I calculate that one? As this is the very similar one whatever it was in the previous question, right? You can see that the activity of a sample, then whatever it is there, and half-life is there, then what is the number of elements in the sample? That is the question. Should I do that one? Okay, let's do. What was there? A is 432. And yeah, obviously we have to be very much careful about the unit, because in the previously it was the unit of second inverse, right? Now it is the unit of minute inverse. Per minute means it is minute inverse, right? And the half-life is also given in minutes, so that means there is no problem. But let's say it is in second and this is in minute, then there may be a problem, like we have to convert from minute to second or second to minute, so that the all the things will be in consistent unit, right? So here a is 432 minute inverse, and then t half is already given. I think what is 1.5 minute. Then what will be the lambda? Lambda is 0.693 divided by 1.5. It will be in minute inverse, right? Whatever the answer will be of lambda, it will be in minute inverse, because I am putting t half as 1.5 minute. So if I just calculate that one, let me calculate. Yes. If I just calculate, then 0.693 divided by 1.5. This is 0.462 minute inverse. Okay, now they are asking about the value of the number of elements what is present right now, number of parent nucleus. So what will be the value of that? A by lambda. So A is what? A, I think 432. See, it is 432 minute inverse, and what is there? Lambda is also 0.462 minute inverse, so that the unit will not be problem here. Then let me just 432 divided by this one, so it is 935.06. but here you can see that the number of parent parent nucleus is an integer number, so obviously it should be like 935 approximately. So the number will be n will be 935, whatever it is there, the answer will be 935. Is it understandable? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's a very simple one, whatever it was in the previous question. Okay, now coming to the question number 4. In that question number 4, it is little bit tricky, not that much. Okay, so the question is calcium 2040 undergoes beta decay to scandium 2140 with half-life of this one. Starting with a fresh sample of 1000 atoms, how many parent atoms will be there after this minute? Okay, so what the question is asking? The question is telling that we have previously 2040 calcium. Now after beta decay, it is becoming as scandium 2140 plus beta minus 1 0. You can see that the number, Z number and A number is obviously balanced. That minus 1, 21 minus 1 is 20, and 40 plus 0 40. Good. So this undergoes a beta decay to scandium with half-life. It has a half-life T half equals to 9.435 minute. It is in minute. Just remember that unit also here. It is in minute. Starting with a fresh sample of 1000 atoms. Starting with a fresh sample means like N of calcium at T equals to 0. It was 1000 atoms. How many parent atoms will be there after this minute? It is also given in minute, right? So at T equals to 28.305 mean, what will be the value of N? That is the question. So the question, as you know that for the radioactivity, the expression is N equals to 8 to the power minus lambda T. So here T half is given. So if T half is given, immediately we can have lambda value. Lambda is 0.693 divided by T half. So what is 0.693 divided by T half? T half is given as 9.435, and it will be in minute inverse because T half is in denominator. So if I calculate that one, that will be 0.693 divided by 9.435. Okay, so it is 0.0734 minute inverse. So this is the value of lambda. Now lambda we have known, and N0 is also given. N0 is what? N0 has given us 1000 because it was shown that a fresh sample of 1000 atoms are given starting. Okay, now they have given a T value also. So what is the value of T here? T is 28.305, and it is also in minute. Now you can see that if I am writing here lambda into T, then what will be the value? 28.305 into 0.0734, and it was in minute inverse. No, it was in minute and it was in minute inverse. So that means as a whole there will be dimensionless quantity. So let me multiply that one with 28.305. Oh, sorry, 28.305. So this is 2.079. This is lambda T, right? Now they are asking about the N value. So what will be the N value? N value is 1000 into e to the power minus 2.079 because minus lambda T is there. Okay, so minus lambda t is there. Now put this value e to the power minus answer, then 1000. It is approximately 125. This will be the answer. It is approximately 125. If I just multiply this one, then it will give us 125. So n is 125. So whatever the question was, it is showing also that closest integer. Like at the if I write here exact value, then it is like 125,055. So obviously the 125.055 has the closest integer as 125. So that's why the result is 125. Okay, I hope it's already understandable. The second question is very similar of that one also. Let's do that one so that it will be clear very quickly. See, this is a very similar one, that calcium undergoes beta decay to a half-life of 163 decades, starting with a fresh sample of 2000 atoms. Here 2000 atoms are there, and know in the sample how many atoms will be there after 326 days, which is very similar to the previous one, right? So here they are asking about 2045. It is beta minus, then scandium 20. It is not given that what will be as a product particle after beta decay, but still, like, we obviously know that if 20 is there after beta decay, it will be 21, and 21 is the scandium, so it's fine. And obviously there is no need of this one also in that question, so yeah, fine. So here what they are asking? They are asking that what will be the value of n after t. What is t? T is 326 day. And what is t half? T half is 163 days. Okay, and what is n0 here? N0 is also given. N0 is 2000. So just put all the values here. You can see that I have put all the things, that t half is 163. Then obviously immediately we can calculate the value of lambda. Lambda is 0.693 divided by t half. It is in day inverse. Just remember the unit here. It was in day, so that means lambda is in day inverse. At t equals to 0, n0 was 2000. Hence at t equals to 326 days, this one is 500. Okay, remaining atom. Okay. How many atoms will be there? Okay. So how many atoms will be there means whatever it was there, it was like, I mean, after t equals to t, it has been radioactive. I mean, it has been transformed to scandium is 500. So what will be the remaining of that? Remaining is like 2000 minus 500. What is 1500? So very similarly as in that question also, it was like how many parent atoms. Okay, if it is parent atoms, then the parent atoms will be, I mean, n was what? N was 125. So the parent atom remains means parent atom is remaining as 1000 minus 125. This n is nothing but how many parent atoms has radioactivated to scandium. So this is the number of scandium particle, I mean scandium atom. So now the number of calcium atom remaining is 1000 minus 125. Yeah, so there was a mistake, sorry for that. 1000 minus 125, it is 875. So the number of remaining parent atom is 875, and how much has transformed into the SC, that is 125. Okay, so if the question was like how many daughter atoms will be there after 28.305 minutes, then it will be 125. So very similarly, as it is asking for the how many atoms will be there, atoms means it is the parent atom. If daughter atom they are asking, then daughter atom will be 500 and the parent atom is 1500. Okay, so this one about the fifth question. Now coming to the next question. Yeah, next question is a little bit tricky. Just see that the question carefully. It is showing that the pure sample of dy. Okay, first of all I just want to write that expression n equals to n0 to the power minus lambda t. This is the one and only expression for radioactive element chapter. So if you just understand that one properly, then all the questions will be answered. Okay, so here what is n was like how many particles, how many samples are transformed in another daughter particle. So let's say I have dy and it is like beta decay, so that means Tb. I will tell on this question later, but first of all I am just going to explain that one. So the number of Tb is n, and n0 was number of dy at t equals to 0, and at t equals to t the number of dy is n minus n0 minus n. This is the expression. Okay, so now coming to the question. A pure sample of dy is contains 1 lakh atoms at time t equals to 0. It radioactive decays 64% to Tb and 36% to Zd through beta plus and alpha decays respectively. After 1 minute, the sample contains 5900 atoms of Tb. The half-life of dy is dash minutes. Write your answer up to 1 decimal place. Like they are asking for t half. That is the main thing. Right? They are asking for t half of dy. Dy was the parent nucleus here. So what is the expression here? Let's say dy 66 150, and let's say it is beta plus, and how much? 64%. So 64% is becoming as Tb 65 150, and from dy what was that? 66 150 from alpha decay, and it is 36%. It is becoming as Gd 64 146. This is the these two processes are going simultaneously, like beta plus as well as alpha is going there, and beta plus has the contribution as 64% and alpha has a contribution of 36%. That is the thing, right? So they are these two interactions, they have given some data based on these two, and also they are asking about the t half of dy. So now coming to the answer. It is already mentioned that number of dy atoms at time t equals to 0 is 1 lakh. It was already given here. You can see that a pure sample of this contains 1 lakh atoms at time t equals to 0. Time t equals to 0 means when we are just starting, we are just putting the sample and there is no radioactivity started right till now. So now the radioactivity will start from t equals to 0. So at t equals to 0, n0 dy, you can see that it is 1 lakh. Now number of Tb 65 150 atoms at time t equals to 1 minute was this one. You can see here also it is also given. Okay. After 1 minute, so after 1 minute the sample contains these atoms, that much atoms of Tb. So n of Tb after 1 minute has the value 5900. I have already mentioned that one. Number of Tb atoms at time t equals to 1 minute is 5900. Now number of dy after 1 minute, how much it will be? We are just asking this value n0 minus n. What will be the value of dy? The number of dy will be what after 1 minute. Okay, so we need to study that one. So as the question has already mentioned that 64% is going from dy to tb, that means let's say I have 100 sample of dy. Among that 64 number of particles will go to tb. Okay, so if I have 1 of dy, I mean one element, then 64 divided by 100 will go to tb, and I have 1 lakh dy at the very first. Then how much will go? Okay, and yeah, so 5900, right? So if 5900 is remaining tb, so at time t equals to 1 minute, 64 was from 100 dy. 64 tb was there from 100 dy. Then 1 tb will be from 100 by 64 dy, and at 1 minute how many tb was there? 5900. So 100 into 5900 divided by 64 dy will be there in 1 minute. So in 1 minute it is like that. So how many will be left? The left number of dy at 1 minute will be 1 lakh minus this one. That this number has already transformed in tb, right? So the remaining number is 1 lakh minus this one. So which is nothing but 90871. So this is what dy number of elements at t equals to 1 minute. So this, if I write here, then n1 dy equals to n0 dy to the power minus lambda t, and after simplifying we can have the value of lambda. If I put the lambda value here again, then we can have the value of t half, and t is already given here. I mean like see lambda t. So this one is e to the power minus lambda t, right? So 1000 n0 dy is 1 lakh and n1 dy is 90781. So if I put all the values, then it will come as t half value. This is a very similar, I mean, so we can have the t half as 7.17 minute. Then just whatever the question was asking, about what will be the value of t half for dy. So this is the answer for that. T half is 7.17 minute. Because we have put here t equals to 1 minute. You can see here that t is not mentioned here, but t as 1 minute is there, and we are all converting in minute in unit. So obviously t is 1, that means there is nothing in that equation, I mean affected. So that's why ln 1 lakh divided by 90781, which is 0.0967. Okay, yeah. So in the next question also, what is the next question? Okay, so in the next question you can see that the next question is asking about scandium. Scandium undergoes beta minus decay to titanium with a half-life of 8.2 seconds. Titanium in turn decays with a half-life 1.7 minutes. To start with, we have a pure sample of scandium having 1 lakh atoms. After 20 seconds, how many titanium atoms are there in the sample? So what the question is asking, scandium was there previously 2152. After beta minus decay, it is going as titanium 2252. Again it is going beta minus, yes, yes. After beta minus, it is going something x. I don't know what, I mean in which element it is going, but it is going somewhere in x. So what they have the information, that scandium to titanium, it has a half-life is 8.2 seconds, and titanium to x, it has half-life as 1.7 minute. Just remember that it is in minute and it is in second. So obviously we have to put this minute to second, because 1.7 into 60 second. And now what is the question? To start with, at the very first, we have a pure sample of scandium with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That much atom was there for scandium, and after 20 seconds, let's say t equals to 20 seconds, at that time how many titanium atoms are there in the sample? How many these atoms are present here in the sample? That is the question. So as I have already mentioned that scandium going to titanium, titanium going to X, and number of scandium is 1 lakh, and at t equals to 0, there was no titanium, right? Only scandium was there. So n0 of t0, n0 of ti is 0. Now t half is given for scandium, so obviously we can do that lambda value for scandium. Lambda of scandium is 0.693 divided by 8.2. So what is the value of this? 0.693 divided by 8.2. This is 0.084 second inverse. For lambda ti is also have like 1.7 minute was there, so that's why we have changed that in second. So 0.693 divided by 1.7 into 60. This is 0.006794 second inverse. Fine. So now they are asking that how many number of ti will be present after t equals to 20 seconds. So what will be that one? A lambda sc minus lambda ti minus lambda sc into n0 and this one. So how this is coming? Let's say I had at first scandium, then titanium, then X. So for this one, n0 e to the power minus lambda sc t. Fine, it was sc. For this, it is n0 titanium e to the power minus lambda ti t. But you can see that n0 ti is 0. I mean there was no one. And this n0, so that means what? So now n0, which is sc e to the power minus lambda sc t, and then the remaining part means n0 sc e to the power minus lambda ti into t. That much is there, and this will be multiplied by lambda sc, I mean the decay rate of lambda sc divided by lambda ti minus lambda sc. So if I put all the values, and if I put t equals to 20, oh wait, I don't have charge in my laptop. Okay, so here if I just put all the values of t, lambda sc, lambda ti, as we have already calculated that one, and n0 also, then we can have the n of ti as 7474870.2, as they have asked about like how many numbers of ti atoms are there in the sample. Then you can see that what is that? 74870. It is very nearly this one. Actually, why this is not exactly coming as whatever the questions, I mean whatever the answers were there, because it is like as a approximate expression. See here you can see that 0.006794. so let's say we are taking that value as 0.0067 up to this portion. We are not taking that one. Then what will happen, the answer will change a little bit, but approximately it is 74870. that means we can have the expression, the exact value is like 78611. Okay, now coming to the next question. This question is very simple. See here, radon 222 is a radioactive element with half-life of 5 days. It decays on this element after 1 alpha decay. So they are asking that radon alpha decay is there, then what will be the element? Half-life is there, that is fine, but like we are not doing anything in that question with the half-life, right? So radon is there. From radon, what will be the value of X after 1 alpha decay? So radon has ZA. So what will be the value of radon ZA? For radon, ZA is A is already given 222 and Z is 86, right? So after alpha means what? It will the new particle will be two number of atomic number will be less than 2 and mass number will be less than 4 from the parent one. So it will be 84 and it will be 218. And which one is the 84 atomic number? It is PO, polonium, right? So the X value for that expression is PO 84218, as radon has 86222. That is the question. That is the expression. Okay, so like here there is nothing with that half-life, but still they are already mentioned that one. They are asking that it decays on which element. So the element will be polonium and the expression of polonium will be 84218, as it is alpha decay. If it was beta decay, then what will happen? Then radium 86222, it will come as 2087 and this one, whatever the element is there in periodic table. Okay, now coming to the second question. In the next question you can see francium 87200 alpha, this one alpha decays to AT astatine 85 196 with a very short lifetime. Then mass of Fr is given, mass of AT is given and mass of alpha particle is given. Compute the Q value of the reaction in NET. So they are asking about the Q value. So what was the expression here? The expression was like Fr 87200 and it will decay by alpha as 85 196. You can see here that 87 was previously, and after alpha decay it is 85 and it will be 186 200 to 196. Fine. Then in this reaction, what will be the value of Q? That Q value is what? So Q value is nothing but the question 8. Okay, wait, let me clear this thing so that it will be So in that question number 8, it was asking that radon 222 is a radioactive element with half-life of 5 days. It decays on which element after 1 alpha decay? Okay, that is the question. Like we know that radon 86222 is the expression for that atomic expression for that radon. Now they are asking that if it is going to 1 alpha decay, then what will be the value of the daughter particle? What will be the daughter one? What will be the daughter particle? This is the parent element, and what will be the daughter element? This is the question. So here you can see that for alpha is what? Alpha is nothing but helium 24. That alpha 24 we can write like that. It is an alpha nucleus, basically helium nucleus 2 plus like that. Okay, so alpha has a value 24. So what will happen here? If I write here in the left hand side I am writing here radon 86222. Then in the right hand side, how many product particle will be there? The product particle will be in X. Let's say ZA. I don't know about that ZA. We have to search for Z and A from that equation. And then alpha is 24. So you can see that obviously we have to balance our Z and A value in any nuclear reaction. So if I balance that Z value and A value, then what will be the value? Z plus 2 will be 86. And from that Z will be 86 minus 2, which is 84. Which is 84. Similarly, if I have A value here, 222 will be A plus 4. That means A will be 222 minus 4, which is 218. Right? So the X, whatever we have mentioned at ZA, which was unknown to us, it has a Z value as 84 and A value is 218. So what will be the notation for that? 84 218x. Now coming to the x value, what is x here? As 84 has a unique number for the atomic number. This is the atomic number, right? So if I put the value of atomic number in periodic table, then we can get that PO has a Z value of 84. That's why we have written here PO 84 218. This is the answer for that question number 8. Radon 222 is a radioactive element with half-life of 5 days. It decays on which element? It decays on PO84 218 element after 1 alpha decay. Is it clear what we have asked the question? Clear, I think, right? Okay. Should I go to the next question? I think it's clear. Okay, so question number 8 has cleared, and now question number 9. Okay. Let me clear all these things. So this is the question number 9. In question number 9, they are asking like FR 87-200 from alpha decay, what it is becoming? It is becoming as 80, 85, 196. Okay. So this is with a very short lifetime. Mass of these and these are given as this. Compute the Q value of the reaction in MeV. So what will be the Q value? Q value is nothing but the mass of FR minus FR. Sorry. The mass of FR minus mass of AT minus mass of alpha. This is the Q value. Okay, so very simply you just do a calculation little bit, like 200, what is that? Yes, 200.00657 minus 195.99579 minus 4.00260. And yes, these all are in U. U means atomic unit number. In atomic unit it is given. but in that question it is asking about the MEV. So 1 U is 931.5 MEV. Then obviously what we will do, we will just do the calculation here. 657 minus 195.9959 minus 4.0026, then as a whole it will be multiplied by 931.5 and the result will be in MEV. So let's do the calculation here. 200.00657 minus 195.9959 minus 4.0026 into 931.5, it is 7.517 MEV. This is the Q value required for the expression, required for the nuclear reaction. Okay, and it was already taken as give up to 1 decimal place. So the expected result will be 7.5 MEV. This is the Q. Fine. So in the next question we can go as a very simple one, that radium is alpha, radium going to alpha decay as polonium with a very short half-life. Mass of radium and polonium and the particle are this and this. Compute the Q value of the reaction in MEV. I have written that one in very simply, like you can see here that radium is 86210, it is going as polonium 84206 and alpha particle. So according to this equation, Q value is m of radium minus m of polonium minus m of alpha. So if I write here all the values, like here whatever it is given, 210.45657 minus 205.8878 minus 4.0026. If I put all the things in U, then it is giving us 0.56617 AMU. AMU is nothing but 0.56617. So it is in U unit, so we have to convert that in MEV unit, so that's why we are multiplying that one by 931.5. Then if I calculate, if I just multiply that one, then it will be like 57.38 MEV. Okay, so this is the Q value. You can obviously calculate that one. Let's say 5.56617 into 931.5, then it is 5.661931. Oh sorry, no, there is one mistake maybe. Let me check. 210.45657 minus 205.8878 minus 4.0026 into 931.5. Okay, this is not 57, this will be 527.38. yeah, 1 2 was missing here, so 527.38 MEV will be the correct answer. So that will be the Q. Okay. Okay, so in that question number 11 we can come here. So in that question, that an element with the atomic mass 120, atomic mass means A is 120, alpha decays to Q value. So let's say one particle is there which is X, Z, A is 120. So if it is alpha decays, then what will be the Z value? Z minus 2 and 1, A will be 1, 1, 6, because the 4 unit will go to the alpha particle because it is 2, 4. So and in that decay, what is the Q value? Q value is 8.2 MeV. The kinetic energy of the alpha particle is which one? So they are asking about the kinetic value of the alpha particle and give up to 2 decimal place. Right. So for that question, what we will do, Here you can see that the Q value is given as 8.2 MeV and the number of parent nucleus is MP equals to 120. Now X 124 is going by Y 116 plus alpha 24. Therefore the mass of daughter particle is 116. Because we have A is 120 for parent particle. If it is parent particle, then in daughter particle, in daughter particle, what will be the A value? A daughter will be 116. 120 minus 4 because it is undergoing the alpha decay. Right? So for that alpha decay, M daughter is 116. Let the kinetic energy of alpha is E and the mass of alpha particle is M. Therefore, okay, so there is an expression for the Q value which is which is nothing but the equation as E into 1 plus M by MD. What is M here? M is the alpha particle mass and MD is mass of the daughter particle. So you can see here that as we have written here alpha 24. So that means M is the mass of alpha particle. Mass of alpha particle which is nothing but 4. Right? So we are just putting these values here. So M we known as 4, MD has already calculated as 116 and Q is given as 8.2. Now we need to have the value of E. Then what will be the value of E here? Let's say Q equals to E 1 plus M by MD. Now E will be Q divided by 1 plus M by MD. Right? So if I just put here Q is 8.2, 1 plus 4 divided by 116. MD is 116. Then if I calculate this one, let's say 4 divided by 116, 1 plus answer 8.2 divided by this one, then it is coming as 7.92. It is in MeV because we have taken here Q as in MeV. You can see that M by MD, whatever it will be the in unit, as it is the ratio of these two mass, then there is no unit. That means it is a dimensionless parameter. So the Q value or E value will be depend only Q or E value respectively. E or Q value respectively. So as Q is in MeV, then also only we can have E value in MeV because Q is 8.2 MeV. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay, now coming to the next question. Yeah, in the next question you can see that an element with atomic number 120 alpha decays with Q value 10.4 MeV, the kinetic energy of the alpha particle. Very similar question. Here you can see that A is 120 as it is parent nucleus. Now the Q value is 10.4 MeV. So they are asking about the kinetic energy of the alpha particle, that means E alpha. So from the expression we can have that if A is 120, then obviously A of daughter, that means M of daughter is 120 minus 4, which is 116, right? And M of alpha, which is 4, because alpha to 4 is there. So now if I write, and also it is given that Q is what? It is given as 10.4 MeV. So as we know, Q is 1 plus M by MD. We can have E of alpha as Q by 1 plus 4 divided by MD is what? 116. So if I put all the values, then it will be like 4 by 6 plus 1, 10.4 divided by this one. This is 10.4 divided by 116 plus 1, it is 1.034. This is 10.05 MeV. So they are asking about that kinetic energy of the alpha particle in MeV. Give up to 2 decimal places. The kinetic energy of alpha particle will be 10.05. It will be in MeV. Okay. Yeah. Now coming to the next question. Yes, in the next question you can have a little bit tricky one. So you can see that the next question is radium 86203 is undergoes alpha decays to polonium 84199, right? The spin and parity of both of the parent and daughter nuclei is found to be 3/2 minus. Which of the following are possible values of relative orbital angular momentum of the alpha particle? So let us first write the expression radium 86203, and it will undergo alpha decay. Then here it will become 84199. Fine, and there is alpha. So what they are asking, so that means let's say I am writing here clearly polonium 84199 plus alpha 24, right? So here spin and parity, that means IP. So IP is 3/2 minus for radium, 3/2 minus for polonium itself, and what will be the value of IP? That is the question. So that is the question. So previously it was 3/2 minus. Now also the daughter particle has spin parity as 3/2 minus. Then they are asking that what will be the relative orbital angular momentum. Okay, they are only about asking that L value for the alpha particle. Okay. So coming to the answer for that. So how can I find that one? See here, given that IP of radium is 3/2 minus and IP of polonium is also 3/2 minus. But I of radium, that means I of radium is obviously equal to I of polonium plus I of alpha, right? So I is what? I is nothing but L plus S, total angular momentum. So the total angular momentum means the orbital angular momentum and the spin angular momentum. But for alpha particle, spin of alpha is 0. That means for alpha particle I is nothing but L. Okay. So if I write here for alpha particle, it is I of RA equals to I of PO plus L. Only L of alpha. We can also write that I of alpha, but I of alpha is replaced by L of alpha, because L equals to I equals to L for alpha particle. So I can have the values from 3/2 minus 3/2. Okay. So here, what was that? Yes. So IRA equals to IPO plus L alpha. So L alpha is what? IRA minus IPO. And this is a vector addition, right? So in the vector addition, what will be the value? IRA was 3/2. Again IPO was 3/2. So what is the possible values of L alpha? L alpha has a possible value like 3/2 minus 3/2 to 3/2 plus 3/2 in step of 1. Okay. So now let me clear that one. This is a very interesting one, so just see that. So here L of alpha can have the value 3/2 minus 3/2 means what? 0. 3/2 plus 3/2 means 3. 1, 2, 3. These 4 values can be possible for L alpha. But there is also one thing mentioned, that p was already mentioned here. ip is there, right? Can I have the values? I can have values from L plus S to L minus S. Yes, L plus S to L minus S of what? Like, see, as alpha particle has S equals to 0, where is that? Yes, alpha particle is S equals to L, yeah. So I of alpha is L of alpha plus S of alpha. So S of alpha is 0 for alpha particle. That's why we are writing I of alpha is L of alpha only. And that, so we are just replacing I of alpha by L of alpha here. Now I of RA equals to I of PA plus I of alpha. Then L of alpha is what? I of RA minus I of PO. So I of RA minus I of PO means this is the combination, the vector addition of these two total angular momentum, 3 by 2, 3 by 2. That's why we are writing here my mod of 3 by 2 minus 3 by 2 to mod of 3 by 2 plus 3 by 2 in step of 1. Okay, like I did not understand the question properly. I can have values from L plus S to L minus S. L plus S to L minus S of what? Like L plus S is J, that is fine. J means here I, right? But for alpha particle, we are considering about alpha particle where alpha particle has S value 0. So we are not considering that one here. We are just replacing I to L so that it will calculate directly L alpha, which is I of RA minus I of PO. And now we are just calculating these values, that how many values of L alpha will be possible. Here you can see that possible L alpha value will be 0, 1, 2, 3. But obviously there are 4 possible answers. But obviously there is one restriction is there on parity. So in strong interaction, parity should be conserved. So let's say so now L alpha has a value 0, 1, 2, 3. Now coming to the parity case. In that parity case, you can see that the parity is a multiplicative quantum number, right? So parity of RA should be equal to parity of PO into parity of alpha. So parity of, as it is a multiplicative quantum number, so parity of RA was what? It was minus. Parity of PO was what? It was minus. So parity of alpha should be positive, otherwise minus and plus will be negative, so that it will be correct one. If let's say it is minus, then minus and minus will give us positive value, which is not correct in this case, right? So for parity constraint, we have only this alpha, L alpha value, which will give us parity as positive for alpha particle. So the parity expression is what? Parity expression is minus 1 to the power L. For alpha particle, L has the value 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So the parity should be positive. So it should be positive means what? How many values will be there? Let's say we have 0, minus 1 to the power 0, it is positive. If it is 1, then it will give us minus 1 to the power 1 is negative. So this value will not be correct. L equals to 2, minus 1 to the power 2 is positive, that is correct. L equals to 3, that is also not correct, right? So the possible values of L will be 0 and 2 only. 1 and 3 will be discarded by the parity conservation of strong nuclear interactions. So the correct values of the relative orbital momentum is 0 and 2. Do you understand that point? Like, then can we combine parent and daughter atoms angular momentum? Parent and daughter atoms angular momentum we are not combined. Like, yeah, combine means what? See, combine, see here the angular momentum should be conserved in any nuclear reaction, right? And it is a strong nuclear reaction, so obviously like angular momentum should be conserved here. So for angular momentum conservation point of view, we can write that total angular momentum in the left hand side, what was I of Ra, that should be equal to the addition of all the daughter angular momentum. That means I of PO plus I of alpha. That is the thing I was asking, I was telling. So this should be conserved. This should be conserved, right? So that I alpha is total angular momentum and I alpha as it is total angular momentum. That means I alpha is what? L alpha plus S alpha. As S alpha is 0, we are talking about L alpha only. So now we are just side changing that one. I of Ra equals to I of PO plus L of alpha. Now L of alpha is I of Ra minus I of PO. We have done only that much thing. Okay, like whoever asked me the question, we combine parent and daughter atoms angular momentums. No, like we are not combine. Yeah, got it now? Okay, fine. Like here we are just writing here the left hand side of angular momentum and right hand side of angular momentum. So obviously left hand side and right hand side should be equal. So that's why we have written as I of Ra equals to I of PO plus I of alpha. Now that I of alpha is considered as L of alpha, then we have just changed the side change. We are doing the side change, nothing else. Okay. Okay, so let me clear these things, all the things here. Some messy things. But parity should also be conserved here, right? So in that expression what we have seen, that angular momentum should, total angular momentum should be conserved as well as the parity should be conserved here. So from angular momentum conservation we get L alpha value as 0, 1, 2, 3, and from parity conservation we have get only L alpha is 0 and 2. So the correct answer will be L alpha is 0 and 2, not 1 and 3, because parity should be conserved in the nuclear reaction. Okay, now coming to the next question. In the next question, IR undergoes alpha decay to Re. The speed and parity of both the parent and daughter nuclei is half plus. Which of the following are possible values for the relative orbital angular momentum of the alpha particles? Okay, this is a very similar question. Let's try that one also. Let's say IR 77 167, it is going RE 75 163 plus alpha 24. Fine, you can see that the 77 is there. 75 plus 2 77, 164 3 plus 4 167. So now they are asking about what? They are asking like IR 77 167 is there. Okay, so IP value for IR is P half plus, and it is also half plus. Now they are asking about what is the value of IP, or what they are asking. Okay, orbital angular momentum they are asking. The same question is there. So they are asking about the L alpha. So very similarly we will do that one. Let's say I of IR RE, IR equals to I of RE plus I of alpha. Now I of alpha is L of alpha plus S of alpha. S of alpha is 0, then I of alpha is L of alpha, right? Now I of IR equals to I of RE plus L of alpha. L of alpha is I of IR minus I of RE. So L of alpha will be value of half minus half, 2 half plus half in step of 1. So you can see here that L alpha is 0, 2 half plus half 1, half plus half is 1, that means 1. So in between 0 and 1 there is no value in step of 1, that means L alpha can have the value 0 or 1. Now coming to the parity conservation. In that parity conservation, parity should also be conserved. So here parity was P of IR is positive, P of RE is also positive. So parity is a multiplicative quantum number, so P of IR is P of RE into P of alpha. Okay, let me erase these things. So let me erase all these things. So what was the value of L here? L value was 0 and 1. So we can see here that P of IR was positive and P of RE was positive. P of alpha is what? So here in the right hand side positive is there, left hand side positive into something. So something will be what? Either positive or negative. So as in the left hand side it is positive, so obviously in right hand side it should be positive, otherwise positive is positive, and if it is a negative then positive negative will become a negative value, so it will not be possible, right? So the parity of alpha should be positive. So if parity of alpha is positive, that means what? Minus 1 to the power L. Minus 1 to the power L should be positive. And L value was what? L value is 0 or 1. So if I write minus 1 to the power 0, that is give us positive value. But if I write minus 1 to the power 1, that is giving us minus value. So what will be the correct answer for L? That's from parity conservation, L will be 0 value. L should not be 1 value, because at that time the parity will not be conserved. Okay, I think it's cleared. I hope so. Okay, now coming to the last question in that section. So the last question is radon 2222 is a radioactive element with a mean life of 5.5 days. Consider a hypothetical case of having one isolated radon 222 atom. Which of the following statement is correct? Like, this is not basically a mathematical question, it is a understandable question. So the answer is like, they have given 4 possibilities. Which of the following statements is correct? It will stay without disintegrating for 5.5 days and then disintegrate. It is possible that it stays without disintegrating for many days after the 5.5 days. It will definitely disintegrate anytime within 5.5 days. Since it is one isolated atom, it will stay stable forever. So these are the possible statements they have written, and we have to choose that which one is the correct one. Okay, so mean life of 5.5. What is the meaning of mean life? Previously, whatever we have done in this class, that was half-life, or there was activity. These terms were there. There was no term as a mean life, right? There was half-life, there was a decay rate, like that. So what is mean life? Half-life is the interval of time required for 1/2 of the radioactive element sample to decay, right? So therefore after 5 so mean life is what? It is not a half-life, it is mean life, right? So half-life means that if it is a half-life of 5.5 days, that means let's say I have 100 sample at t equals to 0. Then after 5.5 days it will become as 50 sample, because 50 sample will be disintegrated to another element. So this is called as half-life. But mean life means, as it is shown as Radon 222 is a radioactive element with mean life of 5.5 days. Consider a hypothetical case of having one isolated radon. Which of the following statements is correct? See here, half-life is the interval of time required for one half of a radioactive sample to decay. Therefore, after 5.5 days, if it is a half-life of the sample will decay. If it is a half-life, but it is probabilistic. The mean life means it is a probabilistic thing. For a particular atom, there will be probability of decaying or staying without disintegrating. Therefore, it is possible that it stays without disintegrating for many days even after 5.5 days. Because we are considering only one hypothetical case of having one isolated radon. Like as it is a mean life, that means it may not be disintegrate even after for 5.5 days also. It's a probabilistic thing, right? So radioactivity is a probabilistic thing, so that's why for a particular atom, it's a particular atom, there will be probability of decaying or staying without disintegrating. It can decay in between 5 days, or it can stay without disintegrating even after 5.5 days. So the answer will be like, you can see here that it will, it will stay without disintegrating. It is possible that it's, yes, this one. It is possible. We can't say that it should be disintegrate or it will be stay without disintegrating. So it is possible that it stays without disintegrating for many days after the 5.5 days. It is also not that it will definitely disintegrate. It is not that, because it is a probabilistic phenomenon. Since it is one isolated, it will stay stable forever. It is also not correct, because as it is a radioactive element, it should decay, but when it will decay, that we don't know. It's a probabilistic phenomenon. Okay, and the mean life is meaning that like it may decay within 5.5 days, or it may not be decay within 5.5 days. It can be more than 5.5 days also, because we are considering only one isolated radon 222 atom. See here, I have already told you that 50 was disintegrating if it is a half-life of 5.5 days, and rest of the 50 will be there. So let's say which one we have considered. This one is in that 50 disintegrating particle component, then it is already decaying. But let's say this particle is inside of this 50, that means it will not decay even after 5.5 days. So this is the case. So it is a probabilistic thing. It is possible that it stays without disintegrating for many days after the 5.5 days. So up to this we have done today's class. We understand this question, or like in anything you can ask me any questions if you have any doubt. In chat box nothing is there. Okay, so I am just showing you all the questions again so that it will be good for you to understand. See, this was the first question, whatever it was previously asked in the previous week, but still it was in the week assignment number 3 in the previous year, so that's why I have mentioned that one. And this was the expression. I'm just going to remove this hazy thing so that you can understand the expression here clearly. This is the expression for the energy level calculation in each cell. Like for this one, the energy is E1S half, like that. If I just put the N, L and S value, J value and L value, then we can have the values of E, N, L, J. Okay, now in the second question we have the number of parent elements, then activity. Okay, these are the very similar one. Now coming to the next one is the beta decay. How many parent atoms will be there? 875 was there. And then how many atoms will be there after 326 days? Again the same question. Then this is the question about dy is going to tb and gd, 64% and 36%. Then after 1 minute the sample is 5900 atoms of tb. Then what will be the half-life of dy? So this is the answer. Then question number 7 is like that one. Okay, it's a very similar one. After 20 seconds, how many atoms are there in the sample? Then radon 222 is a radioactive element with half-life of this, and it decays on which element after 1 alpha decay? Then this is for the calculation of Q value. Can you show again 1 and 2 at least? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Okay. Let me erase this one first. So in that first question it was asking that there is a statement, the first excited state of calcium 2041 is found to have IP 3/2 minus, which is explained well within the single particle cell model. This is a statement and we have to answer the question that this statement is correct or not. Okay. So according to our cell model we have seen some energy level. This is the energy level structure. Let me erase these things. Yes, so I'm just going to erase that one. Yes, so this is the nuclear cell model structure, right? So the particle which they have considered, the nucleus is calcium 2041. So from that notation we can have the neutron number and proton number. Proton number is 20, neutron number is 41 minus 20, which is 21. So if I have 21, then what will, and they are asking about the first excited state. See, it is written that first excited state of this one is from IP value is 3/2 minus. So we have to calculate what will be the IP value of calcium 2041 nucleus for the first excited state. So at the very first we will go for the ground state. So in the ground state you can see that 20 is a even number, so we will not talk about this one. We will just talk about the 21 nuclear structure. So 21 means what? You can see that up to this one it is already filled as 20. That means if 21 is there, then we can write it as 1 is half to 1p 3/2 4, 1p half to 1d 5/2 6, 2s half to 1d 3/2 4. These all are making as 20. Now we need 21 nucleons. That means the last one will go as 1f 7/2 1. Right. So this is the ground state configuration, nuclear cell structure configuration. Now they are asking about the first excited state. So what will be the first excited state? So in the ground state, the last nucleon was here. So what it will go? Where it will go? It will go to here, next higher level. So what will be the expression? The same expression for first excited state will be 1 is half to 1p 3/2 4, 1p half to 1d 5/2 6, 2s half to 1d 3/2 4. Now this nucleons, whatever it is there, this nucleon will go here. That means it will be 2p 3/2 1. Right. So in the first excited state, what will be the speed and parity? The speed will be 3/2 and parity will be minus 1 to the power L. So L is what? L is P means L is 1. So minus 1 to the power 1, which is negative. So 3 by 2 minus will be the value of IP. So whatever they were asking that first excited state of calcium 2041 has IP is 3 by 2 minus and which is explained well within the single particle cell model. This statement is correct or not? Obviously we have found that IP is 3 by 2 minus and we have done that within the single particle cell model itself. So the first excited state of calcium 2041 which is IP 3 by 2 minus can be explained within the single particle cell model and the express statement is correct. Okay, so this is about the first question. Is it understandable? Someone has written something. Okay, I think we have answered the first question, right? Okay, now come to the second question. In that second question, let me first clear this. Let me clear that one. So the first question was about nuclear cell model and the second question is about the radioactivity. Okay, so the question is the activity of a sample of radioactive element is found to be 180 per second. If its half-life is 31.58 seconds, the number of parent elements present in the sample. So the expression is for radioactive elements is e to the power minus lambda t. So what is these things? N0 is the at t equals to 0 number of parent particle. Lambda is the decay constant and t is the time at which time it will disintegrate. And n is what? N is the number of daughter particle at time t. So here whatever it is given like activity it is given. So activity is what? Activity has a expression that dn dt. So if I write here, we know that n equals to n0 e to the power minus lambda t. So what is dn dt? Dn dt is n0 ddt of e to the power minus lambda t. So if I write here n0 e to the power minus lambda t, then minus lambda into this is n0 e to the power minus lambda t is nothing but n. So a can have minus of minus lambda n, which is lambda n. Fine. So a can have the value of lambda n. So in that question a is given as 180 second inverse because it is per second, and t half is also given. T half is 31.58 second, right? So there is a expression from there is a expression between t half and lambda. So the expression is like, let me clear this. The expression of lambda and t is lambda is 0.693 divided by t half. So if I write 0.693 divided by 31.58, that means we can have the value of lambda. So a is lambda into n. So we have a, we have lambda, then we can get n, a by lambda. Now the number of parent elements present in the sample. So parent elements means n0 minus n we have to calculate, right? So this is the thing here. And if it is like daughter elements, let's say, if it is a daughter element, then how what will be the answer? The answer will be only n. So just put all the values here, then we can have the value as the number of parent elements present in the sample. So we have calculated this one, and then we can have a value of 8203. Like it's a number, right? So by calculation it is coming as 8202.59, but as an integer case we can write it as 8203. So this is the case. just putting the values of a and lambda, then we can have n equals to a by lambda. Then we can just put the values of a and lambda, and then we have the value of n as 8203. Got it? I think yes. Yeah, Varun Sastri. Can you unmute yourself?
You may explain question number 4 and 5.
Okay.
Just
4
and 5.
4 and 5. Okay. Okay. Fine. Let me clear these things because some things are there. See, because 4 and 5 are very similar, so just only one will be explained, then the second will be automatically understandable. So let me erase this one. 4 and 5, right? Okay. As I have written this one in 5, then I can just explain 5 a little bit, and after that you can understand 4 one also. Let me erase. See, in that, okay, wait. Okay, so fifth question, this is fifth question. What was the fifth question? Calcium 2045 undergoes beta decay with half-life of, with half-life of, it is with half-life of 163 days, starting with a fresh sample of 2000 atoms. How many atoms will be there after 326 days? So what was there, like calcium, n will be n0 e to the power minus lambda t, as I already told so many times. So n0 is the number of atoms at which t equals to 0. Now n is at t equals to 0, t, what will be the daughter particle? This is the number of daughter particles. So at t equals to t, how many parent particles will be there? Parent element will be at t equals to t, it will be n0 minus n. Okay. Now there is what is given here. It is given like t half is given here. T half is 163 days. Okay. Now n0 is given because it is saying that starting with a fresh sample of 2000 atom. So n0 is given. N0 is given as 2000. So if n0 is 2000 and t half is this one, then we can immediately find the value of lambda 0.693 divided by 163. It will be in days inverse. Then there will be one value of lambda, right? And how many atoms will be there after 326 days? So here it is given as t will be 326 day. So just putting all the values whatever it is given. So lambda is this one, t equals to 0, in t equals to 0, n0 is 2000, and hence at t equals to 326, nsc. Why nsc? Because this is the daughter particle number of elements. It is n0 to the power minus lambda t. If I just put all the values, then it is coming as 500. Now remaining atoms means they are asking about the atoms, parent atoms. So what are the parent atoms? The parent atoms is 2000 minus 500, which is 1500. Okay, so this is the question answer. So the number of remaining particles means it is 1500. So very similarly, if I calculate the fourth one also, you can see that calcium undergoes beta decay to scandium with half-life of this one, starting with a fresh sample of 1000. How many parent atoms will be there after 28.305 minutes? So here also the same similar thing, n0 e to the power minus lambda t. So n0 is 1000, and lambda can be taken as 0.693 divided by 9.435. I have calculated, I think, these values. There were some values, and if I just put the lambda value here, and t is 28.305 minute, you can see that the half-life is also in minute and the time is also in minute, so there is no problem in that unit conversion and all. Then you just put lambda value and t value and n0 value, then we can have n. I have calculated, I think it was n was 125, nearly 125. So what will be the, how many parent atoms will be there? Parent atom means it will be n0 minus n. So 1000 minus 125, it is like 875 or something. I mean closest in integer, because for 125 it was like 125.05 or something. So we can take that as 125, and 1000 minus 125 is 875. Understand? Okay. Okay. Fine. So this is the second question. Fourth question, fifth question. Okay. Okay, so now the sixth question was like, yeah, that one. Okay, I was talking about which question? Yeah, 8th question was there, and then 9th question was the Q value calculation. Then 10th question was again the Q value calculation, and then the 11th question is the kinetic energy of the alpha particle. This is the expression for the kinetic energy of alpha particle. Q is equal to E into 1 plus m by md. So now just similarly again the same similar question, that alpha particle kinetic energy. Then yes, then question number 13 is like 3/2 minus is there, daughter particle and parent particle. Then what will be the value of orbital angular momentum of alpha particle? So very similarly the half plus is there, and in the 15th question it was showing that like 5.5 was the mean life. So what does it mean as 5.5 days? Like will it be disintegrate within 5.5 days, or it will not disintegrate within 5.5 days, or it will stay stable forever, or is there any possibility to decay, or it will stay without disintegrating for many days after the 5.5 days? So it will be the second answer will be the correct one, because it is a probabilistic phenomenon. So up to that we have done. Okay. Is the third one also regarding parent nucleus? Third one, let me see the third one. Where is third one? The activity of a sample is found to be at the, if it's a half time per minute, the number of elements in the sample. Yes, like, yeah, no. See here the parent nucleus, see here in that expression what is given here, the parent minute, okay, activity is given, lambda is given, so we can have only n value, because you know that A is lambda into n. So by this expression only we can have n value. If there is n0 is given, then we can do n0 minus n, otherwise we can't do n0 minus n. So the number of elements in the sample is whatever it is asking, it is n only. If they are mentioning n0 value also, then we can have n0 minus n as a number of elements, I mean number of parent elements present in the sample right now. But it is the number of elements means you can see that only we have lambda value and a value, so that we can only have the n value. There is no n0 value, so we can't say that n0 minus n value will be there. So the number of elements means here they are asking about the daughter elements. Okay. Is the third one also? Yeah, I think I have answered that one. If there is n0 mentioned, then we can think that okay, which one is, I mean about which element they are asking, it is parent element or daughter element. But if there is no n0, then obviously it will be the number of daughter element. Fine? I think yes. Okay. Okay, so I think we have done for today, and the next class will be not in Sunday, it will be in Friday. I think you will be informed by the NPTEL coordinator, and it will be on Friday. Next Friday. It will not be on next Sunday. Okay. Okay. So is there no other questions? Then we can have the end of that session today. Okay, bye bye. Okay, someone is okay. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next Friday. Okay.